In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a chart, and the chart that we're going to create is going to be a column chart. So the first thing you want to do is have your spreadsheet ready to go with all the data, and you can see in this chart we've got in the first column we've got the names of the shops that are in the state of Nevada. Then we have their sales figures for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then the total for each of the shops as well as the weekly totals. Now what we're going to do is we're going to plot just week 1 through week 4 of each of the shops in the state of Nevada. So this is going to be the data that we're going to plot. Now when you do create a chart, you want to make sure that you not only select the numbers that you're plotting, but that you also select the column headings that represent what those numbers are, as well as your labels. So we're actually going to select from B5 through F11. So we want to include the shop names as well as the week 1 through 4. So once you have your data selected, then we're going to go ahead and go to the Insert tab. And then from Insert, we're going to work with the Charts group. Now in the Charts group, you have several different types of charts, and one of the things I would suggest that you do is that you read up on the different types of charts and what they would be good for as far as the type of data they would represent. We're going to go ahead and go to the column chart. Now with each of the charts you also have different types of categories within. We've got 2D, 3D, cylinders, cones, pyramids, and if you want to just go into the dialog box, you have all different types of charts, and you can also go to some templates as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to column, and we're going to go ahead and choose 2D. Now as soon as you select the type of chart, you're immediately going to get the chart, and it's going to probably lay on top of the data from the worksheet. Don't worry about that right now because we're going to move this around. The other thing you're going to notice is that you have a new set of tabs. Underneath the chart tools you have a design tab, a layout tab, and a format tab. We'll go back to the design tab. Now the first thing I like to do is just move my chart around and resize it so that it's big enough for me to work with. And one of the things that you'll end up doing is you'll end up resizing this several times. Let me go ahead and bring it down just a little bit here. Okay, so we'll play with the resizing as we add things to the chart. So you can see that this chart has provided us with a column for each of the 4 weeks for each of the shops, and then we have a legend. All right. The first thing that I like to do after plotting the data in a chart is I like working with the design tab. Now on the design tab you can change the chart type if you want to, or you can just delete the chart and start over. The one thing you want to make sure though when you are working with the chart is that the chart is selected. If it's not selected, let me just click off of it, you'll notice that your chart tabs are removed and the chart itself no longer has that bevel shape around it. So we'll go back and click on the chart. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the chart layout. I'm going to go ahead and leave the style the way it is, but sometimes you want to add some elements to the chart. So if you go to the chart layout, and it's a little tough to see from the diagrams, but you can see where this has a chart title, it still has the legend, and then this one shows the legend at the top, and you have all sorts of different layouts for the charts. I'm going to go ahead and choose layout 1. And what that's going to do is going to provide me with a text box. In this text box I can go ahead and type the chart text. I can move it around, and I'm just going to go ahead and click inside there and delete the default text and type Nevada. And I believe, let me double check, I believe this is September, yes. And then we'll go ahead and give it another title, September sales. Now anytime you start working with various elements of a chart, it's important that you understand what the name of those elements are. The first item here that we have is the chart title, and with the chart title it's just text, and frankly you can format this anywhere you want. So I'm going to go to the Home tab. I'm going to go ahead and change the font size, maybe make it a 16. If I wanted to put shading, I can actually add shading if I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove that. But just to show you, it's just text. So you can format text just like you would any text in a cell. The other thing that you have over here on the right hand side, this is your legend. Okay. Now, if you ever want to mess with certain elements on a chart, you would just select the chart from the Layout tab. This is where you would find that element, in this case the legend, and you can remove it. you can change it around, and we're just going to leave our legend alone right now. Now down here at the bottom, this is your x-axis, and you can see that we have the name, or they refer to the horizontal axis. You have the names of the towns, and then you have your y-axis. So anytime that you're working with the axis, you can come up to the axis titles. You can remove them if you want to, if you want to display them below. For example, I went ahead and chose display below, and then I can go ahead and just type shop. Okay, and then this is your y-axis. So if I want to work with the vertical axis, I can come over here and I can put a title, and we'll go ahead and put a vertical title here, and then we'll just highlight the text, and I'll just type in thousands. Okay, and then what we have in the middle here, these are the actual points that you plotted from the worksheet. Now, one of the things, let me mention to you, if you look at your legend, you'll see that you have week 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each week is referred to as a data series. For example, in week 1, you have a week 1 data point for each of the 6 weeks. Collectively, they are called a series. The second one, week 2, these are the ones that are in red, and collectively these are called a series. And so on for week 3, which is in green, and then week 4, which is in purple. Now, if you ever want to work with a data series, all you have to do is click one time on the bar that represents that data series. For example, I clicked on the blue bar. It could be any of the blue bars, but if you notice, it actually highlights those blue bars. So if I want to put maybe just the numbers for week 1 in here, I can select that one of the data points for that series, and then I can go ahead and I can work with the information. So I can go ahead and go to data labels, and I can choose outside, and you can see it places the numbers there. So it's going to pull those numbers from the worksheet itself. All right. Let me go back up to data labels and choose none and remove it. So collectively, each column of the same color is a data series. They represent the same thing. Each individual column itself is referred to as a data point. Okay, now a data point in this case represents an individual value. So if I click on the first one here, this is representing Las Vegas Green Street, so this will be the 100,000 value. And then if I click one time on the next data point for Las Vegas Sunnyvale, again, you'll notice that is the only one with the circles on the ends. Now I'm going to go ahead and select the last data point for Henderson, or week 1 data point for Henderson. And if I just wanted to put the value above this bar, once I select the data point, not the data series, but the data point, then I would go ahead and go to data label, and I'll choose outside, and notice it just puts the number above that data point. Let me go ahead and undo that. So just to recap the difference between a data point and a data series. A data series is when you have a collection of the same colored bar represents the same thing, just different values. So all of these blue bars represent week 1. If I click a second time on one of those bars, that is the data point, which means I'm only working with that one bar, not all of them in the same series. So if I just wanted to place the label above that data point, I would want to click on that bar twice. Okay, and this is basically how you put a chart in there. And then we're just going to move it around a little bit. And go back and select this. And then you can resize it any shape you want. That's pretty large. Let's bring that down just a little bit. Now, one of the things that you want to do is you really want to make sure that with all of your charts that you get all the elements on there that you want to use. Let me just kind of keep resizing this. Boy, I really made this one big. Let me come back in here. There we go. That you want to go ahead and just resize it and get the shape that you want. You can also name these charts as well if you want to. And that's how you create a chart. I'll just bring that up a little bit more. Now, the smaller that chart is, obviously it's going to resize a lot of the elements in the chart. So again, you really want to make sure you get it the size that you want. But I would highly suggest that you get all the elements on there first. So wherever you want to put your labels, things of that nature, because that's going to make a difference on the size, obviously. Let me go ahead and just bring it out just a little bit more. And this will also print with your worksheet. So if you go ahead and send it to the printer, and we'll just go ahead and click on print here, and then we'll preview it, you'll see that it will be part of the worksheet. So keep that in mind when you do print the worksheet, the chart goes with it. And you want to watch where you're going to get those page breaks. So this one I'm going to try to bring in just a little bit more so it's going to land on that page. And that's how you create charts.